Okay, let's see what Riot's cooking for next patch. Systems. Catalyst has been weak for a while, especially compared to Lost Chapter, which feels like a significantly better purchase. Yes, 100%. How long? Guys, how long did we need to figure that out? That's my first question. Second question, are we finally gonna address the big elephant in the room, which is Rod of Ages being a terrible item? We're not looking to decrease the price, as that makes it too good at stalling action on the 1100 spike. So just looking to increase its actual efficiency. Well, Riot, nobody asked you to decrease the spike to 1100. How about we decrease it to 1200? That would have been actually a lot better, wouldn't it? I do agree that like if Catalyst of Eons was 1100, it would make League of Legends, like laning phase, even less important than it already is. It's at all-time low. Like laning phase right now in League is at all-time low because of home guards and because of symbiotic souls and stuff like that. So if you make an item that gives you HP and mana, be 1100 gold, and then people base on that, which is like 4 or 5 minutes into the game, they come back with a bunch of HP and mana, and then they're just unbreakable, and then they're gonna lane for free with that whichever champ, Anivia, Ryze, whatever, and then they're gonna base, and then like nothing's gonna happen, right? Umbral has been pretty weak for a while with Pyke being the only user. But Pyke has always kind of been the only user, no? Like, realistically. Like, sometimes, sure, when Umbral Glaive was mega overtuned, you saw it happen on junglers. Rengar jungle, Lee Sin jungle, but like, overall, Umbral Glaive has mostly just been a Pyke item for almost ever. When it's like, relatively balanced. Or Senna, I guess. Recall with Symbiotic Souls have been unintended but too powerful interaction. We like it where it is in supports, but the mid-lane use cases have been too powerful, so we're taking down that. This is complete cap, by the way. It's OP on like every single role. Like, sure, it's a little bit, maybe a little bit more OP on mid lane because it's a shorter lane, so it's easier to recall and run back, but like, it's OP everywhere. How about we just like remove Symbiotic Souls from the game? Or like, sorry, like not remove the boots, I guess, just remove the recall. Like, we shouldn't have a mechanic where your recall gets halved, right? On like, that mechanic just shouldn't be on any boots. Just keep it to Baron and that's it. Like, Baron having it makes sense. Gwen's changes have had the effect we wanted in terms of skew, especially adding her back as a more effective pick and top lane high skill play. However, a bit too effective, even after the micro patch, so we're taking her down a bit more. That's cool. Naafiri is still pretty strong, even after the micro patch, we're taking her down a bit further down. So far, she's pretty low with the skew. We're looking to bring her early game down, especially in jungle. So far, her damage is pretty high, which we're keeping it there, but making her work a little harder to access that damage. Okay, I mean, okay, sure, whatever. Okay, buffs. Brand jungle is cute. So, Brand jungle coming back. I mean, Brand is honestly probably like, I mean, Brand is pretty underwhelming right now, right? Like, he's only good in low MMR, and that's about it. But then again, like, Brand jungle, it's not something people, I think, enjoy playing against. Like, Brand jungle is very obnoxious to deal with. It's like, when this champion is good in jungle, he's just kind of like OP. Like, it's very like, it's not like anything really counters him in jungle. He clears fast, his objective control is crazy, his damage in team fights, AoE, his 1v1ing is good. Ivern. So this is like, Ivern is probably getting buffed simply because he's the least popular champ in the game, or like top 5 least popular champs in the game. But that's the thing, like, no matter how much they're gonna buff Ivern, he's always going to be unpopular because he's just very niche and people... It requires a very specific playstyle to enjoy a character like that. It's definitely good that he's in the game, but I also think that, like, it's scary to buff a character that is very strong, especially in hands of pro players. Olaf champion buff, okay, sure. The thing I don't like about Olaf personally is Ravenous Hydra. Like, Olaf is like, I don't like it when he builds items like Ravenous Hydra, because then his whole gameplay becomes pretty degenerate, goes into wave with 200 health, becomes like 70% health in one hit. Shaco AD, so I saw like stats about that. Shaco AP items like outperform AD items on Shaco by like 3 or 4 times, which is crazy. So no surprise they're buffing AD Shaco. Trundle, another champion that I am very skeptical of. I don't like to play against it. There's a challenger top lane player in EU playing Trundle top lane, right? And the only thing he does is he just lanes, and then he gets like 1 or 2 items, and his whole gameplay is just speed push, right? That's what the character does. It's like you turn off your brain, you permaplay for waves on the side lane, and then you're just smashing towers, right? And that's like the whole gameplay. It kind of like reminds me of Fiora. I don't like characters like that. I don't like think they're like enjoyable to play against in any way. And Trundle doesn't have really like much gameplay going into his kit. Trundle, honestly, I would compare him to Garen. Should just be good low MMR, not very good high MMR. Volibear AD. Okay, they're trying to not buff Bows here. Fair enough, Riot. I see what you're trying to do. And then a Zoe buff. Really surprising about that. So if you actually remember a few months ago, Riot said that they are probably going to have to nerf Zoe because Zoe in China is extremely, extremely powerful. I think she has very high win rates, very high pick rates, ban rates there. So they were going to actually nerf her because of Chinese server. But they're actually buffing her, which I'm not sure how to feel about. Trying to think, like, Yone is getting some changes, right? And depending on how the interaction with Yone E works, that's a matchup that Zoe really hates. So maybe that's like a buff that Zoe could be getting in case Yone can't cleanse the sleep anymore on her E. I'm also like thinking like what could they even buff on Zoe? You can't really buff W because it's an RNG spell. They already buffed E pretty much as they could. Q is like they could maybe buff it a little bit. Ult is like very underwhelming spell. The Zoe ult is a very bad spell. But I don't know how to make it better. Honestly. They could buff some base stat, I guess. I don't know. Champion nerfs Darius. So Darius got the jungle nerf, which like slashed like 4% win rate of jungle Darius. And now he's getting another nerf. But this is probably a combination of jungle and top lane. Pretty sure the reason why Darius is getting nerfed here is because his ban rate is extremely high. So they need to nerf the character so people drop the ban rate and then they're gonna rebuff him. His win rate is, right now Darius' win rate is like very, like it's around 50%, which is always the case when it comes to Darius. Gwen, yeah, makes sense, they overbuffed. Lilia. Really happy about that. Yeah, I played one game against Lilia today. I immediately saw how obnoxious and powerful the champion is. She gained around, I think, 1.5% win rate because I was looking today in the morning of win rate in jungle. I mean, the last jungle buff on Lilia was way too much. They have to nerf her here preemptively, like very fast. And then Lulu, I don't really have an opinion. I don't think Lulu is weak, but I definitely, like, at least on EU West, it feels like people have stopped playing Lulu as much as they used to. And she's not as powerful as she used to be like a month or two ago before they nerfed her. But I think she's still on the powerful side, so... And then Naafiri, okay, cool. Champion adjustment, Xerath. Mid-skewed. Ooh. I'm interested in that one. Because like last patch, Riot gave us like literally no changes on mid lane. They did 2 changes last patch. One was TF and one was Smolder. And they did like, I mean, Smolder change was nice. I didn't play him yet, but TF change is like whatever. So this is like the first mid lane change here that I'm seeing. And then the second one being Yone. But the Yone change is straight up gonna be a nerf. So they just call it adjustment. It's gonna be a nerf. And then we have Yorick, which is... I saw like there's like some rework they're making on Yorick Freak, where they're gonna make it so Yorick has a much easier time spawning ghouls without minions being nearby. And then there's like, I think his Maiden is nerfed, his W is the same spell. It's like a bunch of numbers moving around. The kit is going to be very similar. We'll see how that goes. System buffs, Catalyst, the Protector. It is like a very bad item, but I don't like the fact that they're not decreasing the price on it. I really think by 100 gold they could easily do it. I agree with them, the 200 gold price decrease is too much. The reason why I need this item to be buffed is because Rod of Ages has such a horrible build path. And then you finish the item and it's still shit. Umbral glaive, okay. Recall home guard. Yeah. Yeah. Not sure what to say about that. Like Laning phase is so unimportant. It's so easy to recall, it's so easy to heal fast, it's so easy to run back to lane like it's nothing. It's always funny because these problems are immediately noticeable the moment they put them in the game, and then they leave them there for a few months, and then they're like, oh, we gotta nerf this. Lane swap detection, system adjustment. What are they doing with lane swap detection? They already did something last patch. Last patch they put mid lane swap detection only till like 1 minute 45 or something, or 2:15. I guess they're trying to adjust it more. Maybe. I think what RIOT needs to do when it comes to lane swap detection is I think RIOT needs to make it so when you late invade enemy raptors or you late invade enemy blue buff, the support, like, it doesn't, lane swap detection doesn't go on. It should only go on when somebody is standing in the lane, you know, or close enough to lane where they can soak XP. So they need to like adjust that. That's like the biggest issue, in my opinion, with lane swap detection. Anyway, if you look at the patch, I think it looks kind of on the small side. Most of these changes are not going to be meaningful enough, so not a lot is happening. It seems to be like a very small patch compared to 25.6 the last patch.